Maca root has been cultivated for more than 2,000 years by the Andean people. It's actually one of the few edible plants that can survive at those altitudes up there in the Peruvian Andes, well above 13,000 feet. And interestingly, it has also been used as a form of payment of Spanish imperial taxes. I wonder what the news was about maca back then. And the demand for maca really has grown recently, largely because of the claims for boosting libido and fertility, which has positioned the market for maca in a positive trajectory up until 2030 and beyond, largely because of the compounds in maca that make it so unique. The alkaloids, the macamides, and the macaridines, which we will look at in more depth. In this video, I wanted to turn our attention onto how maca works in the body, the studies using maca for libido and fertility and menopause, the dosing, as well as the side effects and precautions that exist with maca roots. This is so that we could come full circle. If you guys are new here, this channel is all about helping you make informed decisions as well as being in the know when it comes to your health and wellness. And I would love for you all to gently tap on the like button down below. And if you really like the content, then consider hitting that subscribe button as well. Also, if you guys are on Instagram, you can follow me there too. Now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Before I begin, what I think is important that you know is that even in the systematic reviews surrounding the study of maca, for some reason, the total number of trials, the total sample size, and the average methodological quality of the primary studies are just too limited to draw firm conclusions out of. So I don't want to confuse anyone and make up my own claims. This is not what this channel is about. So take the studies with a grain of salt and be open to exploring the research instead of demanding hard guidelines. And trust me, I wish we were there, but supplement studies, both in alternative medicine and nature, don't really have the funding at the moment. So we gotta do what we can. What we do know about maca is it's a plant extract and not a drug. It's one of the most commonly cited natural drugs on the internet for the improvement of sexual desire. And what we have here are animal experiments suggesting that maca has spermatogenic and fertility enhancing activities, which are likely due to the phytosterols or phytoestrogens present in the maca. And it doesn't just stop there. What we also know is that it contains macamides, which are very unique molecules derived from free fatty acids produced by maca and resemble almost identically to our natural cannabinoids in our brain, like anandamide, which is your body's own natural endogenous cannabinoid neurotransmitter. This is why it's often referred to as the bliss molecule, making you feel quote unquote high naturally. And studies that have shown us that those who consume maca have higher levels of anandamide, and that their anandamide becomes more effective at regulating the body's stress systems over time. When it comes to the study on libido, the largest one we have was back in 2015, in which 45 women who were experiencing antidepressant-induced sexual dysfunction found that taking 3,000 milligrams of maca root per day for 12 weeks significantly improved sexual function and libido compared with the placebo. And the maca was well tolerated, which is important when we come back to dosing. For fertility though, a lot of the studies are done on fertility for men, showing an enhancing property, but of course lacked enough of a sample size to really give full confidence. 20 volunteers in this study to be exact. For women's fertility, I couldn't find much, but if I were to extrapolate something and for women, this would just be my guess. If maca root can improve the function of the endocrine system by supporting the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands, this technically can in turn facilitate the production of proper hormone levels overall, which can theoretically help women's fertility. But again, it's not that straightforward. There are a lot of factors involved when it comes to the endocrine system, and for menopause, I did happen to find a systematic review, which is just a review of a bunch of studies all in one done back in 2011, and found that these randomized controlled trials tested the effects of maca on menopausal symptoms in healthy perimenopausal, early postmenopausal, and late postmenopausal women using the Kupperman Menopausal Index and the Green climacteric score. All randomized controlled trials demonstrated favorable effects of maca, which included hot flashes, vaginal dryness, mood swings, sleep problems, and irritability. And of course, you might be thinking, how long should you try it out before you call it a bust? Go ahead and stick with it for 6 to 16 weeks to see if you really notice a difference. It should have made some type of change at that point. If not, then it's up to you to continue or stop taking it. Let's take a look at the dosing, shall we? As a good rule of thumb, don't take any more maca root than the manufacturer's recommended dosage, which you could find on the back of the bottle. And since it is a supplement, you're going to have to make sure you're using one that is third-party tested, either by the USP or the NSF, and manufactured in a GMP facility. This is true for any of its forms, capsules, liquids, and powders forms of maca. But generally, the dosing you find is anywhere from 1.5 to 3.5 grams daily for 6 to 16 weeks. And speaking of purity of the ingredients, some Chinese maca crops have been genetically modified, which means they are not the same as the traditional maca grown in the Peruvian highlands. So keep informed on where the maca is being sourced, because source affects quality. And no, this isn't sponsored, but if you wanted a recommendation, I know Nutricost does a good job with their supplements, GMP facility, third-party tested, and they use Peruvian sourced maca. Now, I did leave my link for it down below, but don't feel like you need to go with this one. The side effects of maca are generally mild, and some don't experience any side effects at all. But for others, the common side effects are for the most part stomach aches or headaches. If you have a sensitive stomach, then it's best to take it with food. But interestingly though, I do remember reading that there were subjectively reported side effects from certain users taking maca root that involved altered menstrual cycles, moodiness, cramps, gastritis, and insomnia. So if you experience any of these, you may want to consider stopping or speaking to your doctor about them. A lot of the times, it could just be that you're starting too high of a dose, so maybe bring it down. And as far as the precautions go, because maca extracts may mimic estrogen, I personally would avoid it in breast, uterine, and ovarian cancers, endometriosis, or if you have uterine fibroids. There's just not enough information to rule out the risk in these settings. Now, that can change in the future when we finally get more research, but until then, I would just avoid it, especially if you're already on any hormone treatments that your doctor has told you to be aware of adding on supplements. I'm actually more curious to hear from you. Hit that subscribe button if you found any value in this, and let me know what you want me to discuss next. And until then, guys, I'll see you on the next one.